There is a version of financial success that looks like this. You make your last mortgage payment. You own your home outright. No bank has a claim on it. No lender can send you a statement. No automatic draft leaves your account on the first of the month. You wake up the next morning and the house is still yours, but the payment is gone. That relief is real. And maybe the people chasing a paid off house are not being irrational. Maybe they are pricing a kind of safety the spreadsheet does not know how to measure. Because sometimes the most valuable number in your financial life is not the number that grows the fastest. Sometimes it is the number that disappears forever. Here's the problem. The internet has turned the mortgage payoff debate into a fight between two groups of people who are both missing something. One side says, pay off your house as fast as possible. Peace of mind is priceless. The other side says, that is emotional nonsense. Invest the difference. The math wins. But real life is not that clean because the spreadsheet is not wrong. The market can absolutely build more wealth over time. But the comments under videos like this reveal something the spreadsheet does not fully capture. People are not only trying to get rich, they are trying to sleep. They are trying to protect a spouse. They are trying to retire without a giant fixed payment. They are trying to make sure that if the job disappears, the house does not disappear with it. That is not bad math. That is a different kind of math. This video is not going to tell you that investing instead of paying off your mortgage is stupid. It is not stupid. And it is not going to tell you that paying off your mortgage early is always the best financial move. It is not always the best move. What this video is going to do is ask a better question. What if peace of mind has a price? And what if, for some people, that price is worth paying? If you want the version of the mortgage debate that fits inside a real human life, not just a calculator, you are in the right place. This is Money Made Easy with Emily, where we break down the systems behind your money before those systems break you. Subscribe now so you do not miss the follow-up video where we model the third path, paying down the mortgage and investing at the same time. Back to the numbers. Maya and Jordan, same age, same city, same income. Both bought a $460,000 house. Both put 20% down. That is $92,000 each. Both took out a $368,000 mortgage. 30-year fixed, 6.75% interest. Monthly principal and interest payment, about $2,387. Both of them have an extra $700 per month available. That is the only variable. Maya sends the $700 to the mortgage principal. Jordan invests the $700 into a total market index fund. Same house, same income, same discipline. Different definition of safety. Maya looks at her mortgage statement every month. She watches the balance fall. She knows every extra payment is a tiny piece of freedom bought back from the bank. Jordan does not look at an amortization table. He invests automatically. He buys the market. He does the thing every finance person tells him to do. Set it, forget it. Let time do the work. And on paper, Jordan's decision has a lot going for it. The stock market has historically rewarded long-term investors. But Maya is not only looking at expected return. Maya is looking at her life. Her husband works in an industry where layoffs happen fast. Her mother may need support. Her children are still young. And when she imagines something going wrong, she does not imagine a neat spreadsheet. She imagines one question: can we keep the house? That is where this debate changes. Because if you have never had a payment scare you, it is easy to call mortgage payoff emotional. But if one payment has ever kept you awake, you understand why people in the comments say peace of mind is worth gold. And the data backs up why that fear is not random. The Federal Reserve's 2025 household survey found that only 63% of adults said they could cover a $400 emergency with cash or its equivalent. It also found that only 55% had set aside enough money to cover 3 months of expenses in an emergency fund. And 30% of adults said they could not cover 3 months of expenses by borrowing, selling assets, or using savings. That means a lot of people are not debating mortgage payoff from a position of perfect safety. They are debating it from a position of fragile safety. And fragile safety changes the math. For the first year, Maya's plan feels better. She sends an extra $700 every month to principal. That is $8,400 $8,400 in extra payments in year 1. Her balance is lower, her interest is lower, her future payment count is shrinking. Jordan also invests $8,400 in year 1. If the market is decent, his account may be slightly higher. If the market is rough, it may be lower. But either way, it does not feel like security yet. It feels like a number on a screen.
And numbers on screens behave badly when the world gets ugly. Maya's mortgage balance does not drop 20% because a CEO says something strange on television. Her debt payoff does not get scared by inflation headlines. Her guaranteed return is the interest she no longer owes. At 6.75%, every dollar she sends to principal avoids 6.75% interest over time. That is real. That is not a feeling. That is not anti-investing. That is a guaranteed debt reduction return. And in a world where people will fight for a 4% savings account, pretending a guaranteed 6.75% is irrelevant is dishonest. Now let us check in at year 5. Maya has sent $42,000 in extra principal payments. Her mortgage balance is about $296,000. Jordan, making only the normal mortgage payment, still owes about $345,000. So Maya is almost $50,000 ahead on the mortgage. That feels enormous because it is visible. Jordan has invested the same $42,000. At a 9% annual return assumption, compounded monthly, his portfolio is around $53,000 before taxes. Jordan is building wealth too, but if he loses his job tomorrow, his mortgage payment still shows up. Maya's payment shows up too, but Maya's finish line is moving closer much faster, and that finish line matters. At year 10, the emotional gap gets wider. Maya's mortgage balance is around $194,000. Jordan still owes around $314,000. Maya has not just lowered a balance, she has lowered future pressure. She has removed years of required payments from her life. Jordan's investment account is around $135,000 before taxes. That is a real asset. It is liquid. It is powerful. It can compound. But it is also exposed. And if Jordan needs to sell during a bad market, the asset that looked flexible can suddenly become painful. This is where the usual investing argument skips a step. Liquidity is good, but liquidity under stress is not the same thing as freedom. If your portfolio is down 30% and you sell it to cover a mortgage payment, that is not the dream version of investing. That is survival selling. And survival selling is exactly what a lot of families are trying to avoid. Now we get to the major turning point. With these numbers, Maya does not pay off the mortgage in year 30. She does not even pay it off in year 20. She pays it off around month 198. That is about year 16.5. 13 and a half years early. At that point, something real happens. The mortgage is gone. The required $2,387 payment is gone. The extra $700 payment is gone. The bank's claim is gone. Maya has saved roughly $248,000 in scheduled interest compared with carrying the loan for the full 30 years. That number does not require the market to cooperate. It does not require Maya to stay calm through a crash. It does not require a future buyer. It does not require a tax strategy. It happened because the debt disappeared. Jordan, at that same moment, still owes about $253,000 on the mortgage, but his portfolio is about $316,000 before tax. He contributed about $139,000, so roughly $178,000 is gain. And because this is a taxable brokerage account, we have to tax the gain. The IRS says long-term capital gains are generally taxed at 0%, 15%, or 20% depending on income. State taxes can apply too. So in this model, we apply a 19% tax haircut to gains, 15% federal plus 4% state. That leaves Jordan with about $283,000 after estimated taxes. So yes, at the exact moment Maya becomes mortgage-free, Jordan could theoretically sell the account, pay the tax, pay off the remaining mortgage, and still have about $29,000 left. That is the fair spreadsheet answer. Jordan is still slightly ahead at that moment. But look at what had to be true. He had to stay invested for 16 and a half years. He had to not panic. He had to accept volatility. He had to carry the mortgage the whole time. And if he wants the same mortgage-free feeling Maya has, he has to liquidate most of the portfolio to get it. That is not a small emotional detail. That is the entire decision. Now, here is the part the investment-only crowd does not like to say out loud. A paid-off house is not just an asset. It is a lower monthly burn rate. That matters most when life gets weaker. Retirement, job loss, disability, widowhood, business failure, a sick parent, a child who needs help, a market crash that arrives at the exact wrong time. The Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies found that nearly 40% of older adult homeowners with a mortgage were housing cost burdened, compared with only 16% of those without mortgage debt. That is not just emotion. That is pressure, and pressure is expensive. FINRA Foundation research has also found that lack of assets, high debt, and money management challenges are major contributors to financial anxiety and stress.
So when someone says, "My paid-off house helps me sleep," that is not a weak argument. That is a real financial outcome. Lower anxiety is not fake. Lower required expenses are not fake. A surviving spouse with no mortgage payment is not fake. A retiree who does not need to withdraw extra money from a falling portfolio to pay the bank is not fake. Now let us go to year 30. After year 16.5, Maya takes the old mortgage payment and the old extra payment and starts investing all of it. That is about $3,087 per month. She invests that for the remaining 13 and a half years. At 9% annual return, after applying the same 19% tax haircut to gains, Maya's investment account ends around $880,000 after tax. Her house is paid off. If the home appreciates at 3% annually, the house is worth about $1.1 million. So Maya ends with a paid-off home and a large portfolio. Jordan keeps investing $700 per month for the full 30 years. At the same 9% return, after the same tax haircut, his portfolio ends around $1.09 million after tax. His house is also paid off through normal scheduled payments. Same home value, same house, same final ownership. Jordan is ahead by about $206,000 in investment assets. That is real. That is not nothing. But it is also not the cartoon version of this debate where investing humiliates mortgage payoff by $1 million. Under these assumptions, Jordan ends richer. Maya ends freer earlier. The difference is the price of certainty. Now change one assumption. If the market averages 7% instead of 9%, Maya's path is slightly ahead after estimated taxes in this model. If the market averages 5%, Maya is ahead by more than $150,000. That does not prove Maya always wins. It proves the argument is more fragile than people admit. The investing strategy wins when the market premium shows up, when taxes are managed, when behavior holds, and when the household can carry the mortgage without stress. That is a lot of conditions. Some people can meet them, some people cannot. And knowing which person you are is part of the math. Vanguard has shown that disciplined investors often stay the course during volatility. That is great. But if you are not that investor, you do not get that return. If you sell during panic, the spreadsheet return was never yours. It belonged to a calmer version of you. And that person may not exist when your portfolio is falling, your job feels shaky, and your mortgage payment is still due. This is why paying off a mortgage early can be rational even when it does not maximize expected wealth. It buys something very specific. It buys a lower survival number. That means the amount of money your household needs every month just to stay alive and stable gets smaller. A lower survival number gives you options. You can take a lower stress job. You can retire earlier. You can survive a layoff longer. You can help family without risking the roof over your head. You can stop measuring every market drop against next month's mortgage payment. That is not just peace of mind. That is financial resilience. Now, here is everything this argument is not saying. It is not saying you should pay off a 3% mortgage before investing. If your mortgage rate is 2.75% or 3.25%, the guaranteed return is low. The opportunity cost can be huge. It is not saying you should ignore your 401k match. Free employer money usually comes first. It is not saying you should send every spare dollar to the bank while you have no no emergency fund. That is dangerous. A paid-down mortgage does not buy groceries unless you borrow against the house again. And it is not saying your house is more liquid than a portfolio. It is not. Home equity can be powerful, but it can also be trapped. The point is not that mortgage payoff beats investing. The point is that mortgage payoff solves a different problem. Investing asks, how do I maximize future wealth? Mortgage payoff asks, how do I reduce the number life can use to hurt me? Those are not the same question. Here is when paying off your mortgage early makes the most sense. If your rate is above 6%, if you are within 10 to 15 years of retirement, if your income is unstable, if you have dependents who would struggle if something happened to you, if debt genuinely affects your sleep, if you already invest, but you want your future fixed expenses lower, if you know you will not hold through a major market crash, and if owning your home outright would change how safely your family can live. Here is when investing the difference probably makes more sense. If your mortgage rate is below 4%, if you have decades before retirement, if you already have a strong emergency fund, if you are using tax-advantaged accounts, if you can truly stay invested through brutal downturns, if the mortgage payment does not threaten your household stability, and if your goal is maximum expected net worth, not minimum monthly pressure. The answer is not pay off your mortgage or invest the difference. The answer is, what are you actually trying to buy? Are you buying maximum wealth? Are you buying lower risk? Are you buying retirement flexibility? Are you buying protection for your spouse? Are you buying the ability to sleep when the market is bleeding? Because if debt keeps you awake, the spreadsheet is incomplete. And if volatility makes you sell, the investing strategy is imaginary. The real mistake is pretending peace of mind has no value just because it is hard to graph. The next time someone says, my paid-off house is worth more than your investment math, do not laugh at them. Ask what they bought. Maybe they bought a lower net worth. Maybe they bought safety. Maybe they bought options. Maybe they bought the ability to retire without asking the market for permission. And maybe, for their life, that was not a mistake. But the next time someone says, always pay off your house as fast as possible, do not accept that blindly either. Ask the same question. What is the rate? What is the time horizon? What are the taxes? What is the emergency fund? What would the invested dollars become? What happens if you split the difference? Because the best strategy for a lot of people may not be Maya or Jordan. It may be the third path. Invest enough to build liquid wealth. Pay extra enough to bring the mortgage finish line closer. Use every raise to increase both. That way, you are not choosing between peace and growth. You are building both. Because the goal is not just to win a spreadsheet. The goal is to build a financial life that survives math, taxes, markets, layoffs, retirement, fear, and real human behavior. If this gave you the version of the mortgage payoff debate that the comment section has been trying to explain, hit like before you go. It takes 1 second and it helps this reach people who are tired of being told their peace of mind is irrational. Subscribe for weekly videos that break down financial decisions completely, with real numbers and no agenda. And drop a comment below. Would you rather end richer on paper or sleep better with a paid-off house? I read every single one. See you in the next one.